And this dApp is called We Thinkit Matters, also known as WTIM. And the whole point of this app is to leverage the money that businesses are spending every year on advertising to create more funding for nonprofits. And this all started because 11 years ago, I started a nonprofit. And I quickly realized that as a nonprofit, it's incredibly hard to compete in the marketplace when companies are spending billions of dollars to get people's attention. But as a nonprofit, if you spend $1 on advertising, you get criticized for not giving it to the cause. So I realized that as a nonprofit, you really were at a disadvantage because you can't really compete for the people's attention like brands do, and we're all competing for the same consumer dollars at the end of the day. So what we're looking at here on this slide is in 2019, um, brands worldwide spent over $500 billion on advertising. And during that same exact amount of time, they donated about $21 billion to nonprofits. So as you can see, there's a little bit of difference between what they spend on advertising and what they give the brands. But also during that same period of time, American individuals did primarily most of the giving that supported the nonprofits that are um, making a difference in our communities worldwide. Of the money that brands spend on advertising, some of those things are Facebook, Google, billboards, magazine ads. There's lots of different ways for people to advertise, but brands to advertise, but generally 0% of the money that brand spent with whatever company they are advertising with did any good for people or nonprofits, or in some cases advertising is actually even harmful, I think. The way it misleads people and maybe encourages them to do bad behaviors. uh, the only good thing about advertising now that sometimes does help causes is, cause marketing has been around for a few, years. It all started really about, I think, like 15 years ago with American Express did a campaign where if you open up an American Express card, they gave funds to restore the Statue of Liberty. And that kind of started the whole brands bringing attention to a cause. And but generally 0% of the money spent advertising that cause actually goes to the cause. The marketing is usually then asking people to do the giving. The way We Think It Matters is different is We Think It Matters is an advertising platform. So it's a for-profit company, just like many other businesses out there. But we offer businesses a digital advertising platform where they can know that 60% of the money that they spend advertising on We Think It Matters will go to nonprofits that are partnered in the campaign. And the way that works is, a brand such as Cardano, for example, could say, besides, building awesome blockchain, we also care about this cause. And then whatever that cause was, they could choose two nonprofits that are working on issues on that cause. And then people who were exposed to the campaign would be able to choose which one of those nonprofits they wanted to receive a portion of the campaign dollars. And the way that works is, imagine a business spends $100,000. So that would mean that 100,000 people needed to engage in the campaign and vote for one of those nonprofits that are featured. Based on those votes, half of the campaign dollars go to nonprofits based on those votes. 10% of the campaign dollars go to a lottery to be won by other nonprofits that aren't part of the campaign. And 10% of the dollars go into a lottery for people who voted in the campaign to win. So in the end, 60% of the dollars spent on We Think It Matters campaigns goes to nonprofits, and 10% goes to the members engaged, and 30% goes to We Think It Matters to run the whole platform. Right now, currently nonprofits, they're paying to use fundraising technology. And then sometimes they're even spending money on advertising to get that fundraising technology in front of people so they can ask people to then give money. So it's kind of, nonprofits are having to pay for technology and then spend money to get that technology in front of people to be able to try to fundraise. And the way We Think Matters is different is we're a free fundraising platform for nonprofits. So like I said, this all started 11 years ago when I started a nonprofit and realized how disadvantaged they were. And this is what We Think It Matters is we are a platform that they can use for free. And most nonprofits already have existing email databases and social networks. So what we give them are digital tools that they can engage those existing networks with, campaigns that really if they're featured in the campaign, all they have to do is ask for people to vote for them and they're going to get dollars, no donation required. Or if they're not featured in the campaign, they can just invite people to join WTIM or take part in other campaigns. And just like in affiliate marketing, they would get revenue from those affiliate actions. So that brings me to how people find out about We Think It Matters campaigns. So, like I mentioned, nonprofits who are part of campaigns, if you were chosen to be featured in a campaign, you're going to do all you can to reach out to your email and social networks because you're already doing these activities. But in most cases, when you're doing it before, you were having to ask people to give you money. So then like I mentioned before, these are tools that all they've got to do is ask people to engage. They don't have to ask people to actually give. And then the other way campaigns reach people is that members of WTIM. So when you're a member and you vote in a campaign, you might feel inclined because it's a cause you really care about that you want to, post it on your Facebook or Twitter and let people know that you voted and encourage them to come and take part in the campaigns as well. And this brings me to kind of how this is going to benefit Cardano and also members. So uh, we're going to have two native assets that are built on Cardano. One is the WTIM token, which is kind of like the basic attention token in some ways, but a lot better in some other ways. And then also WTIM share certificates. And what a share certificate is you'll get one the minute you join WTIM, you'll have one share certificate, and that will always give you a chance to win a portion of advertising revenue from the company as long as you take part in campaigns. So, and tokens can be used to buy more share certificates. So you'll always get tokens when you take actions on the site, whether you're voting in campaigns or sharing or whatever it is, they have different token rewards. And then you can either sell those tokens or you can trade them for more share certificates, which increases your chances of winning money in lotteries. Our go-to-market strategy for this is when it's built up is, and why this could be so powerful for Cardano is, you know, we're willing and want to feature Cardano as, one of the reasons businesses and stuff can trust our marketing stack. So, by having our advertising on a smart contract, advertisers can know that when we say 60% is going to nonprofits, that 60% will be going to nonprofits. And they can also know that, the clicks they got were real clicks. And one of the great things about, you know, uh, We Think It Matters and what we've been working on is there's an organization called TechSoup. And TechSoup, their whole thing is they provide discounted software and hardware to nonprofits. And they have over 1 million nonprofit partners who use them to get, everything from Windows to Macs to whatever it is, technology related. And as soon as the We Think It Matters app is finished and operational, TechSoup is ready to promote that to over 1 million nonprofit partners. So
All right.
if you
30
were,
seconds left. 30
thank you.
seconds.
If you were a nonprofit and you had already been paying for fundraising tools that you had to ask people to give you money on, and you got, an email or a notification from TechSoup, an organization you trust, saying, "Hey, there's a new fundraising platform, and you can use it for free, and you can get funding without having to ask people to give money." How many nonprofits out of 1 million do you think would want to use something like that? And then how many of them do you think would be promoting it like crazy to their networks and databases?
All right, excellent. And that's time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Boone. And you can bring your screen share down with the top center of your screen. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Okay, so we're going to go on to the gauntlet questions, and I'll pass that to Umed, Robert, and Philippe. And before I do, I would like to really thank Boone and Robert for burning the late night oil and the early morning oil. These guys are champions on staying up late and getting up early. Their hours right now are brutal. So thank you guys for doing that. All
Thank
right.
you
No
guys for
problem.
doing what you do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
All right, Boone, I have a quick question. So I'm skeptical of nonprofits to start off with. So this question may come at a slightly strange angle. But in the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned that there's a lot of slippage or a lot of money lost through the advertising campaigns that maybe should be actually donated to that particular charity. But towards the end of your presentation, that you mentioned there was some sort of profit split. So token holders, WTIM token holders would get 10% of the ad revenue, and they'd be able to redeem it for something, and 60% would actually go to the actual charity. So if the charities are inefficient themselves, and then there's also slippage or there's also money lost in the WTIM process, how much money is getting from the actual advertising campaign to the actual person that needs help? Isn't that additional step just losing more money?
No, and so here's and this is one of the things I'm running into having to explain this, and is you got to remember. So number one, nonprofits are not. I didn't even imply this ever. Nonprofits are not really inefficient. Nonprofits are some of the most efficient businesses you'll ever meet. It's amazing what they can do with the funds that they get. So, and then the other thing, we think it matters has nothing to do with money that's already being donated from businesses to nonprofits. We're a marketing company just like any other marketing platform. So you got to compare us to like a Google ad or a Facebook ad or a billboard, right? So when a business spends money on a billboard, $0 of what they spent on that billboard ad did anything to help a nonprofit. We're different in the way that we're an advertising channel media platform where when a business chooses to use advertising dollars, money that they were never going to they were never going to donate, they were going to spend this money on a Facebook ad, or they're going to spend it on a magazine ad, or they could spend it on a We Think It Matters ad. The difference is if they choose a We Think It Matters ad, 60% of that, whatever they spend, is going to go to nonprofits. So we're creating new money for nonprofits through money that was only going to be spent on marketing by businesses.
So, Boone, that kind of begs a question, though. So let's say that I'm a corporation. I'm spending $100, right? 60 of it goes, according to your business model, goes to the nonprofits. Now, my thinking would be, what if that 60 actually went to advertising? Would not be better for me? So in order for me to make the choice equivalent, you have to be 60% or thereabouts better than the alternatives. So
No, so yeah. So what you're thinking is that because 60% of the dollar went to a nonprofit, that you somehow lost something in there. But let me show you, say, for example, so right now, if I'm a bank and I advertise on Google Ads, it's going to cost me about $66 for a click. And what I'm going to get for that click is someone's going to land on my landing page, and then they're probably going to look at something, and then they're going to hit the back button, and they're going to go back and go through the rest of the results. So what we think it matters is we're $1 per click. So what your business is paying for is $1 for an engagement, and then in that engagement, they're going to get seen 3 times. They're going to get seen in the campaign page when they engage with a person on choosing which nonprofit they want to do. The brand's going to get seen in a thank you landing page where they get to offer the person who engaged a second chance to take a survey to increase the rewards and stuff they get. And then they're also going to get a third impression when, after the campaign's over and all the funds had been gone to the 2 nonprofits that were part of it, those nonprofits that are part of the campaign they've agreed to tell a story about what that money created for them. So in a $10,000 campaign, say for example, one nonprofit gets $4,000, they're going to write a story about what that $4,000 did for them, and all those stories are going to be then sent back to the people who voted, saying, thank you for taking part in this campaign to help us address whatever this cause was. Because you voted for this nonprofit, here's what you helped make a difference. So a business is always just paying $1 for the engagement on a We Think It Matters things, but We Think It Matters is choosing to give 60% of our revenue to these nonprofits who are partners in these campaigns. So, unlike a normal billboard that you just drive by and you might see it, or a Facebook ad that you might click and then view a landing page and go back, We Think It Matters campaign engages people multiple times for a much lower cost per click than what most brands are already paying for similar advertising.
All right, and
That's great. Yeah.
time. That's time. Okay. Thank you, Boone. Thank you, Umed, for the question.
Thank you for great questions.
Yeah. And we're going to shift over to questions in the chat. And thank you for that, Boone, for answering those there. All right. So the first one that I scroll to here on the chat is from Jonah Koch, and that was great concept. How does it address the Fund2 challenge of attracting developers and entrepreneurs?
So I'm an entrepreneur, and it attracted me, and I've brought along with me. I've already been working on this project, and we're also in the UN Hackathon challenge and stuff. So, but there's also before I have hired a Haskell developer who never had even heard of Cardano before being introduced to We Think It Matters. So, and then also currently working with ABCD, the African Blockchain Center for Development. And, so currently We Think It Matters is already brought in multiple devs to be building things on Cardano. And if we get this funding, it will help continue to encourage these devs to learn more about building on Cardano.
Okay, I see. So you're managing all the moving parts, and there's other devs on your team. All right. So the next question was from your Cardano update, and it was the same question: how's it help bring devs in? I think we got that one. Philippe, what's the next one we have there?
I have a question from DC. How is this different from any nonprofit launching an IC or a custom token on Cardano? I mean, on your website, it seems like you've launched a token on Tron. So, like, how is this different from?
Yeah, I did launch a coach token on Tron a while ago when I was, trying to learn about blockchain and figure out how to do this. And I decided that Tron really wasn't the blockchain that I wanted We Think It Matters to be built on. And so, I know we have an ERC converter coming, but we need a, TRX converter, Tron converter. But um, so the reason a nonprofit, would use We Think It Matters, and there's no reason they couldn't still create their own token. So the WTIM token is really a rewards token inside of our system. So it's a utility token, and a nonprofit would use We Think It Matters platform as a fundraising platform. They're not necessarily going to be holders of the WTIM token. Their nonprofits are going to be using our platform as a way that they generate real funding dollars, by either like affiliate like actions, by sharing links and different things like that. So you know they still could create tokens. We have really nothing to do with the WTI token is primarily for members rewards, the people who are voting in the campaigns.
All right. Another question from I Have the King. Is it possible to trace exactly where the money goes? I'm guessing he's referring to the advertising campaigns.
Yeah, that's one of the things that why I want to be on the Cardano blockchain and build. So We Think It Matters in reality, you don't really need a blockchain. You could just be a centralized advertising platform, but because of what we're saying, we're the whole 60% going to charity and 10% going to members and stuff. Blockchain creates that transparency and accountability that's really easy for anyone to see that when we say here's where it went, we can just point them to the block and say, here's where that campaign was, and you can see here's where the money went to this nonprofit, and here's where it went to that nonprofit, and here's where it went to the lottery to the nonprofits, and here's where it went to the lottery for the members, and here's the member that won. And you know, what happens with the money after it goes to the nonprofits and the winner of the lottery, who knows, you know, but we'll be very easily able to show that, you know, to the public and advertisers, when you spend $1 here, here's where it went.
DC asks, how do you plan to match Google Ads exposure level? And I guess you can branch it out to every big advertising platform.
So again, so nonprofits are our powerhouse, you know. So as I mentioned before, TechSoup has over 1 million nonprofit partners. And I'm going to say on average, those nonprofits have over 10,000 people in their email databases. Some of those nonprofits have multi-millions of people in their databases. And as I mentioned before, nonprofits are already paying for fundraising technology. And so We Think It Matters is a fundraising tool that they can add to their stack, and it allows them to, you know, easily get funding from sharing, you know, about the site and campaigns. And so, you know, when campaigns are part of a campaign, when they're featured, when the two nonprofits are featured in a campaign, they're going to be always heavily driving that campaign because they've got financial incentive. But even nonprofits that aren't part of those campaigns still have financial incentive to help other causes raise, you know, funds. And so, you know, even a few nonprofits promoting one campaign would be a lot of attention.
Okay, and that is time. I'll just pick one random question at the end. Real quick answer. Boone, what is the price of your project in USD from Tresanova? What was the project price?
So yeah, in Fund 2, we're asking for 17,000, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yep, I believe it's 17,000.
Yeah, because it was, yeah. So I think I saw that in the proposal there, 16,000, 17,000. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone in chat, for asking those questions. It really improves engagement and really.
And that's for a dApp that people can use.
Yeah, dApp that people can use. All right. Thank you.